This is Brian Efros, and you're listening to Mark of the Maker.
All right. There's our man, Mr. Brian Efros, giving us a little read-in for the Mark of the Maker podcast. So thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Steiner, and we're going to have a fun conversation tonight. No guest tonight, but we're going to have a little topical episode. So let's check in. We have a panel of folks. Our usual crew is here. Mr. Tom Crine.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Mr. Michael Birch.
Here.
Mr. Sean Kendrick. Say hello to the kids at home, Sean.
Hello, children.
Ooh.
Yes.
Hide your kids.
Oh, always creepy. Well, dude, there's not really a good way to come at it, you know?
Yeah,
especially with a lead in like that.
Yeah, I set them up. That's true. Sorry about that.
Dude, you set it up and I hit it like it was T-ball. So
Whatever it takes, man.
Indeed.
All right. So tonight, or today, or whenever it is that people listen to this, we're going to have a little conversation about a 3-knife collection. And I think we all found this to be pretty tricky to do. The topic is out of what that sounded like I was supposed to give the answer at that point, or my time ran out.
That's on my end.
That was Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers' train.
Ding.
That's coming. And that's all the boys and girls showing up.
Every time an angel gets its wings, the chime rings. Okay, so we're going to do a 3-knife collection. So here's and this would be a fun one for our listeners too. I'd be curious to hear what some of them have to say about it too. But if you could only have 3 knives out of your collection or pile of knives that you have, or like Tom has the Mount Steel or whatever it is over there, giant fucking heap of steel out over at his house. If you could only have 3, what would you keep? And there's some obvious choices, like we have some nice knives. There's lots of people that have really, really nice knives, but I think it'll be interesting to hear what knives people pick. And so we're going to kind of take turns and go around and pick our 3 knives we would keep out of our collection if we could only keep 3.
Now, if we do it like the internet, that means we have to sell those knives next week.
No. I'm
going to keep it forever. Give it to my children.
Well, you see those questions asked a lot. What's your grail, and what's the one you'll never sell? And such, and then you'll see it for sale, and you're like, oh man,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, these choices though for me are going to be more sentimental. I mean, they're cool pieces, but I mean, to me, the ones that I'll never get rid of and mean the most are the ones with thoughts and feelings behind them.
Oh, Sappy McSapperson. Mine are straight up what would bring the most on eBay, baby.
True.
Yeah.
Sean is over there giving me the golf slow clap.
Indeed. I appreciate your capitalism.
And your candor.
Tom's bringing the tears with this one.
You're right.
Well, I mean, that's what's most important to you, man. I mean.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just teasing. Mine are sappy too. Damn it.
Yeah. Mine are cool as shit.
Fucking sappy. Okay. So 3 knives. Let's
well, that's not all of it, right?
What?
That's just the first part.
Oh yeah, okay. So we'll do that first. And then the second part, Tom, is going to be
if you could add 3 knives to your collection, any 3 knives, money's not an issue. They're not to sell. You have to keep them. What would those 3 be?
I have to ask a question of clarification.
Sure.
What if they're encased in a thick glass case in a famous place? Fair game?
This is anything you want, you can have.
Right on.
It's just not, it's true grails. I mean.
You're asking rules of our made up game?
Yeah.
Our made up questions?
Right. What if it's the sword that's still in the stone?
Anything.
Yeah, if you know where it's at.
Yeah.
What if I want
I mean,
one of
yeah.
your knives, Tom? Can I have one of your knives?
Whoa.
This is an imaginary
Yeah.
thing. So sure, you can imaginarily have one of mine.
No.
Yeah. This is going to end in fisticuffs.
Tears and fisticuffs.
Fisticuffs over the internets.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. No rules on the second part. We'll see how that goes. Feelings will be hurt.
Mhm.
Street
Sean's gonna
fight
be-
style.
Sean's going to be making notes as we go through, and he's going to listen for the most sappiest, tear jerkinest ass story, and that's what he's picking first.
Or that's what I'll ridicule first. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's the one I want, and I'm going to stick it in my fucking grinder and grind it away to dust.
I mean, if it's like the last time we had to pick like 5, Sean's probably got 14 extras.
Oh,
Okay, I resent that a little bit, but I can see why you would think that due to past behaviors.
past
And I do
performance
have-
does indicate future results.
I do have some honorable
But
mentions.
no, I actually pared it down to 3. I took it very, well, at least as serious as I take shit, you know.
Right.
I did not.
No. Fair enough.
Birch started out having honorable mentions right from the get-go.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it to it. Pitter patter.
That's what you call it. That's what you call a total disregard for the rules, I'm afraid, but I got it.
That is true.
All right, so let's do this. Tom, give us your tear jerkinest story of all. Go ahead. Number 1.
Number 1. Okay, for me, this is a knife I probably got in I'm going to guess 87, maybe 86. We were on a family vacation and we went to Oregon. We were staying, I don't know, somewhere around Cannon Beach. I had just found out about Blade Magazine. I was super into custom knives. For a couple of years I've been reading. I had the Knives Points of Interest book. The Knives and Knife Maker book by Sid Latham. And we went in a little souvenir shop off of Cannon Beach. They've got a pretty cool little beach boardwalk type thing. And we're in there looking, and lo and behold, they had custom knives in the display. And we're looking, and my dad's there with me, and there's a Chuck Staple knife there. It's got woolly mammoth on it. It's got scrimshaw on both sides. Pretty neat knife. And my dad actually liked it, and he's like, "Hey, you want that?" And I'm like, "Of course." And he ended up buying it for me. So this is the number one knife of my collection that will never go anywhere. Was a knife that was bought probably in 86 or 87 by my dad. And it's a true custom Chuck Staple knife. Really, really cool scrimshaw and on both sides. So yeah, that would be my number 1, just because of where it came from.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was, right when I was getting into it. And that was totally unlike really anything that I would have ever imagined happening in that scenario. But it's been a prized possession ever since I've had it.
Very cool, Tom. What's the what style of knife is it?
Yeah.
So it's a small hunter. It's got a kind of a different handle on it. It's got probably about a 2.5-inch blade. The flats are all mirror polished, and the hollow grind is a nice satin. I can put pictures up of it when after this. I'll try to get a decent picture of all 3 of my knives from my collection. But yeah, totally would not have imagined my dad dropping down the money for that at that point in my life. It was just like, wow.
How much was it?
It's meant a lot to me for a long time. At the time, I think it was around $200, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, and it's totally scrimshawed by Linda Petre, I think is the artist.
Check that out.
And it was, I've got all the documents that came with it and the original case and everything. So yeah.
Is there a design or pattern in the scrimshaw, or is it like a scenery thing, or what is it?
So on the front side, on the obverse, it's a lion's head and then like some artwork scrimmed. And then on the back side, it's a lion in repose, like laying out. So
Wow.
yeah, pretty cool.
That is cool.
It is. Yeah.
But that's the first custom I ever got, and kind of a special piece.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but it's been like 30 some years.
Very
Well,
cool.
shit. I wish you hadn't gone first.
Sorry, I threw the big one down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So the question is, how much?
How much what?
This ain't eBay, man. Put a price on it.
Yeah.
It ain't for sale ever.
Oh, sure, it's not, pal.
What's the flip?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, this one's not going anywhere. The ones I've got are the ones that I'm talking to tonight. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, very cool.
So, thanks.
What I was going to say before was there's like a 0% chance that my dad would have spent $200 on a custom knife in 1985.
No, I would have never. I think that's what made it so special. Was totally out of character for that time period. That was a period where my dad and I didn't really get along very well. I was a teenager, and
Right.
I was an asshole. But yeah, it was pretty cool, and it means a lot to me. So
Maybe it was a bit of a peace offering.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe so. Trying to connect with you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep.
I know that drill.
Damn.
So that's it. Who's next?
Sean's
Well-
going to try to snake it out of you before the show's over. I know it. Just watch it happen.
I am fond of big cats.
Especially those in repose.
in nude.
You dress up a lot of cats, do you?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
Just flopping their nudies all over the place. That's
Lord.
gross.
Here we go. I'm not even going to go there. Okay, Birch, tell us about your first naked kitty cat knife.
Well, I was a young boy in an orphanage. I didn't have a father, unlike
You know, I
Tom.
I swore Tom was going to say, so we went on family vacation and we ended up in this magical and beautiful place called Pigeon Forge. And nearby there was this this massive place that had just tons of knives.
Yeah.
It was called Smoky Mountain Knife Works.
I didn't go there until I was like on my own in college.
Yeah.
That was my pilgrimage. I made my parents go there when I was a kid. Like we were going somewhere
Yep.
close
Right,
enough. I was like, we got to.
Yeah, man.
All right. Let me go with my real first one here.
Okay.
When I first started going to Blade Show, a friend always had a Loxa that I'd be like, let me see that Loxa. Because people may not remember this, but back in the day, an integral was a pretty damn big deal. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
Unheard of.
yeah, there wasn't production integrals out there. There weren't these things that were, solid piece of, made out solid billet of titanium, sort of thing. So I wanted to check his out every time I saw him at Blade Show. And I love that knife. I think it's just such a cool piece of functional art. And then I got a message from a friend that was like, oh, Scott Cook is opening up his books. So I just shot the email off real fast. And I don't know, it took like 5, maybe 6 years or something. And I got one in, and I've had it for a few years now. And I love that piece. It's simple looking. And truthfully, the price was pretty damn good for a very clean hand rubbed integral piece. I think I paid $850 with the add-ons or something. And I love that knife. It's just fantastic. Feels great in the pocket. The way he contours it and sort of like an hourglass figure from the top down. Just slim. It's well done.
Very cool piece.
Yeah, that's not a piece I'm never going to get rid of. And I use it too. The very tip of it's kind of broke off. I don't know what I did to it, but I mean, I don't care. It's part of it. It's got snail
You don't
trails
know how
and
to fix
scratches.
that.
Well, I mean, I just don't care. I mean, it's part of the knife. When I get to sharpen it, changing it up one day, I'll get rid of it. But,
Oh yeah, that's cool. I love that you're using it.
yeah, it's got to go in the pocket or otherwise it's not appreciated. And there's something about that.
Right. there's a shitload of those that never ever see the light of day, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just because they're so hard to come by.
Yeah, they are. And it just, I don't know. It's such a cool knife. I just like it.
It's a very cool piece. I remember you telling me that you got the email saying, "Oh, holy shit,
Yeah.
Scott Cook emailed me. He's going to build me a knife." I'm like, "Oh, really? Wow, nice."
Kind of forgot about
So
it.
it's
before.
really been is like 3 years or something, has it?
Oh, it was a long time. And it was like probably a 2-minute difference between, the guy that told me about it and when I sent mine, because I was all like, oh shit, here's what I want. And then there was a couple of years between him getting his and me getting mine. But that's part of the wait. I'm sure some of my customers understand that one.
Part of what makes it. I mean, it's really part of what makes it special. I mean,
Yeah, I got it
For sure.
from him, and that's part of it.
now, correct me if I'm wrong. He came out of the Chris Reeves shop.
Uh-huh.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Really clean work. I've never met him.
I mean, he
But I'd
does.
like to.
I don't think
Stuff's
he
really cool.
does much, but just pumps these out. Just makes this
Yeah.
knife and a few others, and perfectly content. And he's pretty much just perfected this knife, and there's something to be said about that. I think. We're always kind of chasing new designs, new stuff to do, or feel like we got to be, staying ahead of other people and stuff. And sometimes it's okay to just make something and be really good at it. And that's pretty much what he's done.
Yeah.
That's a great example of a knife that's had really incredible staying power as far as collectors go.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
very much.
Super timeless piece.
His fixed blades are really cool too.
Oh yeah, they are. You don't see those very often.
I'm on his website now. I'd love to have one of the Owihi Hunters. I don't know how you pronounce that.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think I saw one of those for sale in USN years ago.
Yeah, they really look functional.
Those little folders come up every once in a while. I think I think in a lot of cases there are examples where someone waited 7 years or 9 years or something crazy and finally got one, and then
They've changed.
I don't know, maybe lost interest or
Yeah.
whatever. Or,
Interest has changed.
did different stuff, and boom, they're for sale right away. But they do not last long. I mean, they've really, really held value. They are super desirable to this day. And if you've ever held one in your hand, you can definitely tell why.
Yeah, it's
Good
interesting.
choice.
They've held on to their retail pretty good in this kind of down market.
Oh yeah. So how does he do that? He puts the stop pin in and then welds it or something and then machines it back?
I'm not really
Like,
sure.
how's that all work?
I don't know if he
No
Huh.
idea.
puts it in and then he may be doing like a laser welding of titanium over it, or he may just be
Yeah.
taking it and doing where you can hammer it and kind of peen titanium around it.
Right.
Like if you're good enough, you can probably hide lines from it, but I'm not sure. I've looked down in there and stared at it and been
Very
like,
cool.
I wonder how he does that.
I've seen several of those in person in real life, and I've never seen, sometimes on a slip joint, once they've been carried a bunch, you can start to see where the pin is,
Yeah.
where the pins are in the bolster or whatever, just because of patina and whatever. And I've not seen one of those where you can see where the pin was.
Not a single one. And I sit there and stared at mine before looking for it. So
Weird. Sorcery.
not 100% sure what he's doing there.
Huh. Well, very cool pieces. If anybody out there has not checked out a Luxa in person, definitely go to a get-together, USN get-together or show or whatever. And if you come across one, definitely take a couple minutes to check it out. They're really, really cool knives.
Mm-hmm. Good old-fashioned thumb opener.
All right. Sean Dog, what you got? First knife.
All right, I got a dad knife too. It's a knife I actually bummed off my dad. He was like, "Here, son, you can have this." I was like, "Hey, man, can I have that?" But it's a older case pattern, and he carried it until the jig bone's pretty well smooth and the butt ends of it are cracked off. And at one point, he kind of vibratory engraved his initials on the bolsters. But it's one of the one-armed man patterns. And I remember being a kid and being real small and seeing that knife. and not knowing how it was used, but just knowing that knife, there was something different about it. It had some kind of use. And I thought it looked kind of like a straight razor, so I thought that was cool. And one day I asked Dad about it, and he explained to me why the blade was made the way it was and how you use it to open on, your boot heel or your pocket lip or whatever. And that really started something in me as far as how I like to look at, curiosities in the knife world and, the oddball pieces. And that was kind of the start of that. So I would keep that because, Dad carried it till it was almost non-existent, almost wore down to nothing.
Right.
And it has that other sentimental attachment also. So I'm holding on to that guy.
Hell yeah.
Very
Love
cool.
it, man.
Pretty awesome.
I love the old traditional knives when they've been carried and they get that pocket worn look and that knife's been loved.
Oh yeah. I mean, except for where the handle's busted off. This dude's smooth as a bar
Right.
of soap.
Yeah, I love that.
Very cool. So for people who aren't familiar, Sean, with that pattern, that, like you said, it's got a straight razor-ish shape because the spine is straight at the end, right? It comes out and has almost like a little hook or rounded feature at the end.
Yeah, a little notch.
Like where your thumb goes in.
From what I understand, that was made popular after the Civil War, right? When all
Yep.
the amputees couldn't open their knives, and so that became popular, so the one-armed guys could open their knives.
Yep, that's what my dad told me when he sat down and explained to me, the whole thing about it, how there wasn't penicillin at a certain point, and folks would lose limbs, and it was handy to have one if you was one of them folks.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice. I have an old slip joint that my grandfather carried for years and years and years and years and years, and it's got that exact thing, Sean, where you can see where it had some level of embellishment, whether little grooves or marks or flutes or something on the bolsters, and the handles. I know they weren't smooth because I remember being a kid and they weren't smooth, but they're smooth now. and the bolsters are, there's like a little faint indication of where it used to have some kind of embellishment on it, and that's a super cool piece.
Pocket change tumbled.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
That's it.
I used to collect a bunch of slip joints when I was a kid. I used to go to flea markets and stuff. My mom would buy them and have some from my dad that he used to carry, old timers and stuff. And what they call that stuff, rough hewn on the old timer stuff, or saw pattern.
Yeah, the saw cut scale.
Saw
cuts.
cut.
Saw cut.
Got a couple of those that are smoothed out just from dad carrying them, and some of the old flea market ones too.
Oh yeah, I love that.
All right. So I think my first one is, I probably talked about this before. I don't remember. I have an old Emerson CQC6, like an early one, not a Half Moon logo, but a Garage CQC6. So in Emerson parlance, Garage CQC6 means it was made before Ernie had a factory and, was a big operation. It's got a threaded bolster. So for people that aren't familiar with that, that means the opposite side from the screw on the bolster is actually threaded right into the bolster on the other side. Yeah, a super old Garage 6. And to me, I guess that's just because that was sort of the definition of the Grail knife, kind of when I got heavy into tactical knife stuff. And so that was a friend on USN sold that to me, I guess maybe as a favor. I don't know. He was very, very kind of him to share that knife with me. So I've had it for a long time now, or quite a while now. And that's probably the coolest Emerson, aside from maybe a Half Moon 6 that I've ever seen. And I just love that knife.
That's very cool.
That's a really cool knife.
Yeah. Watershed piece.
If you don't mind me asking, what did a knife like that run back then?
I got it way, way, way below what it should have cost when I got it. A friend sold it to me very, very cheap. It should cost probably, certainly today, it's probably a $4,500 or $5,000 knife.
Ooh.
I've seen a couple of them sell recently, and they're quite valuable. It depends on the details. The old ones are funky. Like this one's kind of interesting because it has some unusual feature, not unusual, but cool features, like on the liner on the lock side, the jimping where you grab onto the liner to push the liner back and close the knife, that's all hand filed. And I say that because it's all uneven, right? It's not the same, right? He didn't do it with a checkering file. It doesn't look like it's done with a regular hand file.
Ah.
The jimping on the top of the blade is a little bit smoothed out and sort of funky looking. It's got a little bit different style grind than some of the later knives. The beauty of these old Emersons, for anybody who gets a chance to check one out, the old ones are different. They have a very different feel to them. This thing is probably from being opened and closed a million times, but it's super, super, super glass smooth, and it has that, I don't know. It's not like some kind of loose drop shut, drop open kind of feel. It's just super velvety smooth when you open and close it. And it's very slim across the handles, because the old knives all have real thin bolsters, real thin liners.
Mhm.
And so no wave, super thin liners. It's just a pleasure to carry. Super cool knife. And to me, it's kind of iconic cornerstone tactical knife. So
Yeah, it's a important piece of the
Oh, yeah.
tactical knife history.
Oh yeah, I mean the 6 brought a lot of people to the dance.
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Yeah. That's a big piece of why I picked it. I mean, it's just a really cool piece, but I think it's a knife that got lots of people's attention. That I think was the linchpin of the whole Emerson special ops guys thing. You know what I mean? The tie between the two and the whole, the whole tie-in back to the tactical knife side of things. So really, really neat knife. I'll post a picture of it up. I've posted occasionally on my Instagram because I do carry it. It's a very, very cool knife.
Awesome.
All right, we'll spin it back around to you, Tom. What's your number 2?
All right. Number 2 knife is also one that I got quite a few years ago. I think I got it. I think it was Blade Show of 97. Basically, during that time period, I worked for Bob Dozier. And that was during the time period where I was kind of the shop foreman and was laying stuff out and kind of running the place. Bob was always the boss, but I opened up the shop and stuff. And Bob treated me really well. And that year, we really hustled, and we had a bunch of cool knives for the show. I want to say we had 60 or 70 knives we finished for the show. And Bob,
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty impressive. And Bob basically said, "Hey, really appreciate what you did. I want you to choose one knife out of what we're taking for the show, and that's just a little special treat for you, right? Reward." And Bob always took care of me during this time period. I would go to Blade Show on my own and walk around, but Bob always came back. He always had natural material and this kind of stuff, and so he treated me well. And for him to give me a reward like that, I mean, we were taking some awesome stuff, but the one I chose kind of was special to me, and it was ironically during this time period, Westinghouse micarta really wasn't a thing. Bob had sheets of it, and I had cut some up and used some of the butterscotch linen type Westinghouse on a Pro Guide, which I don't know if you're familiar with those models, but during that time period, also Bob had a special logo made that he used on some of his stuff, and he let me use it on a couple for that show, and it was a Dozier with an arrow through it instead of the normal Arkansas made, and I had put that on that knife with his
Very
blessing for the show, and I don't know, for some reason I'd never had a Pro Guide, and I really wanted one, and that's the one I picked, and I've kept it ever since. At one point, I probably had 30 plus, maybe 40 Dozier knives in my collection, and now I'm down to maybe 3 or 4 that I've kept, because when I needed equipment for my shop, I sold a huge part of my collection of guns and knives, and this was one that I kept, and it's just kind of got that sentimental meaning to it, of kind of a job well done and a gift from a man that I really came to respect when I worked for him. So another one that will never leave my collection.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
Yeah, very cool.
Little bit of your own history mixed with someone else's, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, to me, this is one of the knives that'll never go anywhere. And it, it doesn't mean if as far as on the market, it really probably doesn't have much value other than, a couple $100 probably. But to me, it's priceless, and it's one that I'll keep and, pass on the story when it comes time.
I have a feeling that all these knives we're talking about aren't going anywhere.
No.
No.
Right. Okay, so a guide knife, so kind of like a hunting knife, camper kind of knife. I'm looking at the pattern. What's the intent behind the shape?
Yeah, so this is maybe a 4.5, 5-inch blade. This was, it's got a pretty comfortable rounded handle, and this was a hunting knife, that Bob had designed, and you can use it for general utility stuff, but it's just a nice knife. If you like a larger blade when you're hunting, this would be a great deer or elk knife. And it's one that I hadn't had at that point in my collection, and so I don't know. This one to me was the one that out of all the ones that I made, I thought was the most special, and to me personally. So yeah, it's just I've actually never even carried this knife. So
really,
yeah. And it's funny because, I look at the Chuck Staple knife now with a critical eye. Back then I thought it was perfect. It's not, and when I made this knife, when we made it in the shop, I thought it was perfect. And I look at it now and it's not, but they're still functional knives, and it's kind of a cool piece of history for me personally.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's funny, like that Emerson early CQC6 at Garage 6 that I talked about. It's the same way. I think it's a fact that if you looked at one of his a brand new CQC6, it's technically a better knife all the way around. It's fit up better, stuff's tighter, you know what I mean? But
yeah, we refine stuff. I mean, that's, if you're a craftsman, you refine your craft and you refine what you make and learn how to make it better. And, but your history's still there,
Yeah,
I love it.
Very cool, man.
So yeah, that's my number 2.
All right, Michael, what's your number 2 pick?
All right. I'm going with a Lum.
Nice.
And technically, my wife got me one for Christmas. That is the most special. Just putting it out there. That one's the most special, Abby.
Yep.
But
good call.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's just make it completely
that's
clear.
the most special. But the one I want to talk about is the Tanto one for obvious reasons. One of the bad parts about sitting next to Boss Haas at Blade Show is the fact that he always has Lums. I think it was 2 years ago.
Right.
He always does.
And I've been eyeballing this one. I think the same one for a bit. And 2 years ago, I came home with 2. He gave me a killer deal on a slip joint. And then this one.
I remember that.
Yeah, man, I couldn't pass that deal up. But
I remember Michael saying, "Hey man, here's what he offered me this knife for. Should I buy it?" I'm like, "Yeah, but if you don't, I will." And you're like, "Well, I'm wait. I'm gonna buy it. I'm just asking. I want someone to tell me."
we all want our affirmation.
I don't want you to buy it.
But the Tanto one is, I don't know. That's Lum history to me. It's a nailed nick opening, a bead blasted handle, flat handle. It's kind of interesting. It's a liner lock, but also a single slab of titanium on the front. Satin finish, Tanto with his, signature tip, convex tip in the front. It's a very cool knife. It's a piece of, once again, that tactical knife history to me.
Yeah, totally iconic.
Yeah. And you see that grind a lot these days. Hell, I've even done it a few times, and I just love the knife. It's very simple in its looks, but I don't know. It's a classy knife. But there's also things about it, like you were talking about, if you really eyeball it, there's imperfections in it for sure. You can see like surface grinder marks through the hand rubs. You can see, that the very tanto tip doesn't quite line up, little scratches that didn't, rougher grit that didn't come out on the titanium through the bead blast. But at the same time, that also, in a way, makes me feel better as a knife maker, because if you look at this and be like, oh, I can find some issues, some imperfections in this knife, it's almost like it's okay to not stress so much. It's never okay to not want to be better, but it's okay to not kill yourself trying to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yep.
We worry so
a
much.
knife doesn't have to be perfect to be cool.
No, it doesn't. And that's the thing that we worry about so much when we let the knives out of our shop. Is that right there? And I don't know. This one right here, I can look at it and be like, okay, man, Bob, he had some imperfections here and there. It's okay to be a human knife maker. But other than that,
Beautiful piece too. Wow.
Yeah.
it is. And I carry it. I don't carry it as much as I do the Loxa, but it gets in the pocket every once in a while.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. Michael's posted it in his Facebook group a couple times, and I'm sure you can put a picture of it up in the Mark the Maker group, right? So people can check it out.
Yeah, I'll be posting photos up. Just he did a lot of iconic things, and that's I don't know, just proud to own one of his pieces. Not as great as the one my wife gave me though, which is an actual
Exactly.
great piece. Stag, tapered tang. Ooh.
That sounds pretty nice.
Oh, it's a gorgeous piece.
All right, Sean, what's your number 2 pick?
All right, my number 2 pick, and these are the last two. I was like, okay, if I get to keep 3 knives, I'm going to have one for pure sentimental, and then the next 2 I'm going to have so I can actually carry them and use them. So my number 2 would be my Carry fixed blade, and it's a Myers model that I got from my son Kane.
Nice.
I like that knife. I like the way it carries. I like everything about it, and it works for me. And it has that sentimental attachment because I got it from him. It's just cool. It's a really good knife. It's a great little Carry fixed blade.
Nice.
Super cool. Describe for people what that pattern looks like if they're not familiar.
Man, it's got kind of a straight spine, a decent bit of belly. You might call it maybe a roach bellied kind of blade, like one of the older trade knife styles. Kind of has a bird's head sort of handle, a single finger groove. And the one I have has double black canvas micarta with natural micarta pins and an etched finish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
See, that guy's in A2 also.
It's pretty cool. I love it that your son is into what you're into, and getting a gift like that from your son, that's got to be pretty special.
Can't tell. I paid for it.
Oh, you paid for it?
Yeah.
I thought you said your son gave it to you.
Well, after I said, yeah, man, I want to order one of those, and I paid for it.
So this is one that he made?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I missed that part.
Nope. It's one of his.
That's even cooler.
I gotcha. That's even
That's
better.
even cooler.
Man, it's a solid knife. I enjoy carrying it.
I thought you were saying you were ordering, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, that's from me." Sounds like something I would
No,
do.
no.
Sean's like, hell no, I paid for that shit.
No, he was making them, and I saw one he did, and I was like, dude, do me one like that, but with this handle material and this feature you put on that one. And he hooked me up.
Did he give you a discount?
Definitely a cool looking knife.
Little family discount?
I wouldn't let him, man. That ain't me.
Oh, nice.
No.
Yeah, it's twice as much. That's the family
Yeah.
discount.
Yeah, no shit. That's what I say. My friends and family like to see me eat well, so pay down.
Right. Get ready to pay up, suckers.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I can imagine having a knife from your son as a knife maker. That would be so awesome.
I mean, the fact that it's a cool knife, I mean, it wasn't a pity order. It's like, yeah, that's fucking cool. I want that. Not like, oh, bless his heart, I better order one of them motherfuckers from him.
And
No, he's doing a good job.
imagine how that felt to him, too. I mean, Man,
Oh, he was nervous as a cat trying to shit a peach pit, man.
I bet so.
Hell
But
yeah.
to have your dad be like, "Oh, I
Who would
want to actually carry one of you, something you made," that's pretty damn cool.
Oh, and he nailed it. I mean, it's a fantastic piece.
Awesome job, Kane.
I'm still trying to picture that cat.
A lot of shaking.
We're talking about naked cats again.
I really like the straight spine with that big old sweep to the belly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it works. I mean, utility or whatever, it works.
Awesome, man. Kane makes the list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Well done.
And only partly for sentimentality.
I'm not just throwing you a bone here, kid.
Oh, he knows that don't happen.
Right, that's like against the rules. It's like against dad rules. So my number 2 pick, or my second pick here, is I just posted a picture of this over the weekend. You know, in my little intro episode way back, what feels like forever ago, where we talked about, you know, your history and how you got into knives and got started and stuff. I talked about a guy that I met not terribly long after I joined the USN, a guy named Big Wave Dave.
I know exactly who
And,
you're talking about.
Sean knows
Yeah,
what I'm
oh,
talking
yeah.
about.
Anyone on USN knows.
Mhm.
Big Wave Dave. So Big Wave Dave was at a get together that I went to, and he pulled out some custom Emersons. That was the first time I'd seen a custom Emerson in person. And he pulled out some Tom Mayo folders, and I'd never seen a Mayo knife before. And I'd seen pictures. They look really cool, but I'd never handled one. And Dave was the guy that turned me on to that. So sometime later, Dave had some stuff going on personally, and he got a hold of me and said, "Hey, I'm going to sell some Mayos. Do you want to buy some?" And at the time, I was collecting Mayo knives. I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, sure." And so I bought a few knives from him. And in there, this was kind of a grail piece for him. It's a Dr. Death, so a full-size Mayo Dr. Death. So for people who aren't familiar with that, it's a kind of daggerish shaped folder, long, super slim, super stabby blade. And it's got a Stellite blade, which is real cool, always awesome on a Mayo. It's got carbon fiber handles that are all, you know, full of pits and stuff. It's like carbon fiber structure from a jet fighter seat that somebody gave
Yeah,
Tom.
it's
like
real
a
carbon fiber.
cutout or a drop or something. Yeah, structural carbon fiber. And so that's the carbon that's on the show side. It's got 8 mosaic pins that run down the side.
Mm.
Yeah, a Stellite carbon Dr. Death. It's just a super, super badass folding knife. And it's to me, it's kind of iconic of, wow, if I could have any Tom Mayo knife, that's pretty much exactly what I would
That's
pick.
cool.
I'd still like to have a carbon covert, but that thing is sort of a unicorn kind of Mayo. It's not the fanciest one, right? There's no Damascus on it. There's no Damascus steel, but it's what Tom does, right? It's hand rubbed Stellite, which is, I know, a giant pain in the dick.
It doesn't need it.
So yeah,
Doesn't. I mean, if I'm going Mayo, I mean that'd be a piece I'd pick too. Carbon fiber and hand rub blade all day long.
yeah. And it's just, I mean, from like a knife perspective, it's just a big honking badass knife. This motherfucker is huge. It's like 9.5 open, maybe. It's not an XL, but boy, is it a cool knife. I got it in my hand right now. But I love this knife. It's really neat. There's another guy on USN that actually has the same knife, but with 7 pins in it.
Huh.
So 7 mosaic
Wow.
pins. So someday I'll have to trick them out of that and have
Yeah.
a pair. That
That
would be
would
really
be-
cool. So, yeah.
It's a really cool piece.
Yeah. So very, very fun piece. Like I said, I just posted a picture of it recently on Instagram. I do carry it. It's just a great knife. It's again, it's another kind of cornerstone in the whole tactical knife scene to me, anyway. And I like Tom, so very
He's a
cool
pretty
piece.
good dude when he's not karate chopping you in the throat.
You know, when the finger flicking
Yes.
started becoming sort of a trend. You know, I'm talking about the flicking. What do you call it? People flicker them out
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
You had to put that thing out about his coverts about
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
please don't flicker these all day long. You know, and people were getting all weird about it. Like,
Oh,
why can't?
yeah.
Well, it's titanium stop pin, titanium pivot. It's made to just be open and used in emergency.
Right.
Not a all day long flick it open all day situation.
That's not good for. I don't think it's good for any folder to do
No.
that. I've had a couple come back that look brand new, and they were freaking worn smooth out, like
yeah.
crazy amount of wear.
Oh yeah.
And I asked the guy, and this dude would watch a movie every night and
Flick it.
open and close the knife the whole time, flipping
Flick it.
it. Duk, 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 duk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. You're talking tight tolerances, a few thousandths of an inch is a lifetime for these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But-
Imagine
Yeah.
watching a movie with that
They
guy.
got so many openings, and if you use them all up,
Imagine watching a movie.
what's that? Watching a movie with it, with him? Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
Excellent pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I could probably stop there. Two's really good. Two really good ones. All right. Let's do the last one. This is the linchpin. Tom, what's your number 3?
Number 3 for me. Okay. So, funny thing in my family, my personal family, I don't usually get stuff for Christmas. And I don't usually get stuff for my birthday either. My wife has adopted the policy that it's Christmas all year long for me. Basically, if I want something or need something, I buy it. So
I get that on occasion too.
yeah, so that's kind of the policy is my wife doesn't get me anything for Christmas or birthdays. It's like you have Christmas and birthday all year long. And it's kind of become a thing. So I'm pretty used to not getting anything for my birthday. Mom, if you're listening, sorry, but gifts, my mom's gift giving wasn't always the best either growing up. Like I'd get, for Christmas, you fill out the list of what you want, and I'd never, ever got anything off the list.
Yeah.
I got what I needed, I guess, but not what I wanted. But
You got
which is awesome. But
Socks and drawers and stuff.
yeah, one year was shaving. I got a shitload of shaving stuff, like when I was 16 or 17. And then, yeah, clothes and I always put guns and knives and cool stuff on it. I never got any of that.
Right. A trebuchet, all kinds of stuff. Never got one.
Yeah, never. Imagine if I had. But anyways, long story short, this past year, went into my birthday not expecting a single thing. And come to the end of the work day, I worked all day because, it's just another day, But my employees actually got me something. And, I got a rule. It says no crying in the knife shop. That's kind of my rule.
Right.
That came about one time when my wife was in the shop and I was trying to help her, but she didn't appreciate it and started crying and left, and she's never came back. But, as far as working in the shop. But anyways, so
Damn.
yeah, my employees went together and it was pretty rough. She still gives me a hard time on that. But they went together and they got me a gift. And when I opened it, I just was like, didn't know what to do, right? They got me a Randall number 1 5-inch, so 1-5. It's a stainless blade. It's got a Lennon Micarta handle, and it's got nickel silver fittings. And it's really one of the cooler birthday gifts I've ever received. And I didn't cry in the shop, but I may have come close.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, it was just, it was like, when someone actually thinks about a gift and they give you a gift that you would like versus what they would like, it means more. So yeah, this was very well received.
Like how
Very
how
nice.
my wife got me a lum.
Yes, exactly.
Just want to toss that out there.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that's it, So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And, this is one of those sentimental pieces that'll never go anywhere. It's actually, I keep it on my desk. It's always right here. It's what I use for a letter opener, and it's just always right there at my desk. Pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. What color Micarta handles?
It's black linen.
Black linen.
Yeah, and it's a cool Randall. It's one that I didn't have. I think I've got a 1.5, a 1.6, a 1.7, and a 1.8 now. So
Nice.
pretty cool.
That's very thoughtful that they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't expect anything like that, and that's a pretty significant gift. And they bought it used, sent it back, and had it refurbished. And so they thought ahead a while for this, right? So, yeah, it just kind of blew me away.
Yeah. Well, like you said, that's the word that I always use for the stuff like that. Thoughtfulness, right? It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
They spent some time thinking about it and got something they knew you'd really dig. That's pretty awesome.
Yep. So that's it.
Pretty awesome, man.
Very, very nice. That's quite a lineup, Tom.
Yeah, I feel pretty good with those three. There were so many that I could have chose from, and I'll be honest, it was really difficult, but those are the three I went with.
Yeah.
The first one wasn't hard at all, so.
Right. All right. Well, you stuck to the tear-jerking script pretty well, Tom. Those are all real deal pieces. That's neat.
Well, and to me, that's what a collection's about. I don't know. I love, and I think in the industry, we've talked about going to shows and building these relationships with makers. And I think that's what really makes pieces special, and these pieces all had meaning for me. And if you build a relationship with a maker or, another collector and you get a piece from them, like you did with Big Wave Dave or whatever. I mean, those things that's the story. I mean, that's what's important.
Right. Yep. Very cool. Michael, you're up next, and this is your third knife.
Man, I'm in a quandary.
What's your pick?
I'm in a quandary here. I can go with a little history, I can go with a little more history, or I can go sentimental. Not 100% sure what to go with here.
You haven't gone sentimental yet.
I haven't really. Because I thought about doing the Randall.
Not really.
Or the Gilbreth Fog, but I've talked about that piece, I think, before. Or the titanium piece, but I've talked about that before on the show, I'm pretty sure. So
Yep.
So I think I'll go with the piece
But that's okay. I talked about mine before.
Yeah. But see how I'm talking about it without talking about it? Yeah, that's right.
Right.
You filthy cheater.
So no, I'm going to go with a piece that my dad made. Remember Dixie Gun Works?
Yep.
I think they're still around.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they
Black rifle kits.
Yeah, they used to sell, and my dad did some rifle kits and he did some knife kits. They used to sell kind of rougher. He did a bunch of the Green River kitchen knives out of ebony and rivets. So he had a bunch of that left over, and he did some hunting knives, but I think he did them solely to work on his checkering because they're heavily checkered handles. One is almost like
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, a chaparral type of, or I always pronounce his name wrong, type of knife, and another is just more of a typical Bowie with a very, kind of bulbous checkered handle. But when I was a kid, those were the first sort of funky, custom-y type of knives that I ever saw. It even had like a leather sheath that he made out of like a Tandy leather kit. And I was fascinated by them. I thought they were just the coolest shit in the world. And the fact that my dad made them, I didn't know what a knife kit was or any of that stuff back then. And I was like, oh shit, Dad made these. And last year he went ahead and, handed some of those off to me. And I don't know, that's what put I think the inspiration and the love of knives is seeing those, because I used to go into like the gun room or safe or whatever room and handle the knives and check out the old guns and stuff like that. And it was my favorite place to be, I think. So to have that, it's just a piece of my history.
Yeah, it's really cool. Those kits, I wonder how many people, that kindled a love of knives. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But it, and it was, they're just neat little knives. And he still uses the Green River type of kitchen knives. We butchered a bunch of animals with those. No offense to folks out there for whatever, but they were handy as hell. Little bit lower.
They're purpose built.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you'd sharpen them on a rod over and over. But man, we did a lot of hogs with those knives.
That's very cool.
That's awesome.
I think you had told me before that your dad had made some knives from doing like some knife kit kind of work. That's pretty neat.
It could have been that he was doing a book on how to checker, and he did it that way. Or,
yeah.
Who knows the why or what of it. Had a couple of the muzzle loaders that, were kits too that he built. And I think
Do you still have those?
He's got them around I guess he does. They recently moved. I'm not sure where they went.
You should make sure those are cool. If I was you, I'd want to keep those.
Oh, he had one that was the double shot pistol, sort of a pirate's type of,
Like a Howdah?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. It just sat on the mantle. It was but I remember thinking how cool I was when I was finally able to cock one of those hammers back, with my thumb and not having to use two hands.
Yeah, that's cool.
And we were safe, guys. Don't worry. People listening, muzzleloader stuff is, a whole different world. So,
yeah, love muzzleloading stuff.
Well, awesome, man.
So there's my number 3 that wasn't the Gilbreth Fog or Spectrum Metal Laminate.
Right.
Very nice.
Well done. All right, Sean, what's your number 3?
All right. My number 3 is a Rob Criswell katana Rachel got me probably 2 years after we'd been married, and just a crazy cool gift from her and a beautiful sword. So I would hold on to that guy.
So it's a sword. Describe this to us, Sean. How big, how long the blade is, that kind of stuff.
Let's see. It's a full-size katana. I guess probably at least a 24-inch blade, if not like a 27.
Wow.
A full two-handed handle, almost 2.5, with the big Chinese ring at the end. The handle's full tang with G10 slabs and then a paracord over wrap. And there's a stainless guard that's been laser pierced.
Wow.
So it's got a ring at the end? So is it like a Chinese? It's a Chinese sword?
Dude, it is a mashup of a katana with a Chinese ring on the end.
Oh,
that does sound cool.
Man, it is badass. And I mean, like 27, I'm thinking it's a 27 and a half inch blade. I would have to measure, but it is a large sword. 1/4 inch A2.
Whoa.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it is fucking beast mode.
Is he still making stuff?
Man, I don't know. That's a good question. I check every now and again, but I haven't seen anything new in a little bit. I think there might have been an uptick a few years ago to where he was putting out some more stuff, but I haven't seen anything since, really.
No, I missed it. Who made this?
Rob Criswell.
Oh, really?
Very
Have
cool,
you chopped
man.
any trees?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Man, it'd do the trick.
That's been a few years.
Oh, yeah. It was.
Is it A2?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I actually talked to him on the phone because Rachel got me that, and then I ordered a Wakizashi to match, and I spoke to him on the phone, and he said, I use 2 steels. If it's a hunting knife, I'll use D-tube, and if it's a sword, I use A-tube, and it's pretty simple.
Hard to mess up those two with those two.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
great steel.
Especially for those applications.
Hard to argue.
D2.
Exactly. Very nice, man.
You're going to have to put a picture up of that.
Oh, yeah.
I will. It's a spectacular piece.
Of you double fisting them. I want to see the cool picture.
Oh, well, yeah, total fucking full ninja
Yeah.
style. I'll do a
Blade.
Naruto run with them behind me.
Or a video.
Right.
Yeah, a little video action.
Yeah, showing off your mad skills. Don't pull
Mhm.
don't pull a mat, slice your face open or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
Do not wear a fedora.
No fedora. How long ago was this, Sean?
Let's see. We'd been married 2 years. Man, I'm guessing 98,
Wow.
Nice.
Holy crap.
maybe 99, maybe. But
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, dude, it was early on. And I mean, let's see. I think she gave $425 for that piece.
Wow.
Yeah, because the walk was like $350.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, man, if you saw these, just the guards alone are worth that much. They're gorgeously pierced all the way around, very clean machine work, just really nicely done.
Yeah. That's super cool, man.
Nice choice.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, and thank Rachel. She's the one who got it
Right.
for me.
Yeah. High five, Rachel.
And
Thanks,
you went
Rachel.
sentimental. I love it. You know, I'm going to cry when I listen to this again. I'll have to do it outside of the shop.
Yes. Yeah. You're strictly forbidden from doing that shit in the shop. And Sean rings in the first sword of the episode so far.
Yeah,
Epic.
that's pretty awesome.
I live a fantasy lifestyle.
It can't be denied.
You better bring up something cool, Mark. Don't suck.
Okay, so my number 3, it's hilarious that Birch says that. So my number 3, and this is going to create a very awkward situation on Mark of the Maker, because my number 3 is a birch tree.
Ah, you went with suck. Damn it.
Boom. Yeah. Suck it.
So my number 3 is this folder called the MS1. So several years now ago, I went down to Michael's house. I'd never been down to his place before. And he said, hey, why don't you come down, hang out for a few days? We'll jack around in the shop, maybe make something, whatever. And so when I got there, we started talking about, I had no exposure to how custom knives were made beyond watching, whip threads on USN or whatever, right? Looking at pictures and stuff. I'd never seen this in person. And so it was kind of a cool thing because it's like, okay, I'm going to go see how like a knife goes together. And so we talked about what to do, and we sat down at his kitchen table and looked at a bunch of the patterns and drawings and sketches and stuff. He's got these big books full of drawings and ideas and knives he's made and the knives that he hasn't made and stuff like that. And so we drew a bunch of different things, and Michael likes to say everything becomes a tangent. His model, the tangent. And it's pretty tangenty. I'll say that. It's got a lot of tangent in it. And it's actually a very, very, very large folder. It's probably 4 1/4 blade.
It was a big old sucker. Remember that?
Yeah, it's a monster. And so we drew this knife out and, did the whole paper template thing. And again, I'd never seen this before. So I'm like, really? No shit. This is how you do it? And
Kind of crazy.
yeah, so we did it old school Michael Birch style, drew out the template and cut it out and stuck it on some, I made a copy first just in case, and then stuck it on some steel and tie and started cutting stuff out. And so it was a very cool knife because it wasn't the first knife that Michael had made for me, but it was definitely a cool one because I got to be there for kind of the beginning of it and partway through it. He finished it up after I left. But it was kind of my real first hands-on kind of intro into how a custom knife goes together, and at least in the way that Michael was making them. And lots of guys still do make them that way, and Michael still does too sometimes, right? Working on new designs and other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So it was very cool to see it in person.
I think that's an excellent pick, Mark.
Well,
I am not surprised by that reply.
And also, it's interesting because for me, the design process that goes into that is where you're using paper, and we used to use like a thumbtack or whatever and all that crap.
Right.
That's really hard for me to get right. And I can remember going to Michael's place, and he did that like on every single knife, because every single knife was a book knife, and it was like, oh, I want this except with this blade or something different. And I was just like blown away because like he was doing that all the time, and it's a big pain in the ass to do, and it takes a lot of time. And I was just like, wow, you don't use patterns? And he's like, man, very few. I was just props to you, man. I mean, it seemed like one of those things that, like for me, like learning to flat grind, it's a pain in the ass at first, and I pushed myself to do it. And for you, I felt it was like a design thing. It's a pain in the ass, but you pushed yourself to do it, and you got really good at it.
Thanks. 2 pieces of tracing paper, put a pin in or whatever and start rotating. Make sure that stuff
Right.
goes where it should. But man, I'll tell you what, the learning CAD, woo, that is a lifesaver. I still do the drawings on a little piece of paper and then move them over into the CAD. But man, that saved me a lot of stress and time. And
Seems like, yeah, CAD makes it easy to find the stop pin and stuff.
Well, and you can recycle the geometry, right? You can take the working section in the center and maybe in large part, right? Maybe not exactly, obviously, but take something that works and then that's the core. It works. You can build something else around it.
yeah, I mean, a big problem is you can only erase so many times before it turns into this weird smudgy thing that you can't see through anymore. And you're like, I don't know. But you can, I don't know, in the CAD, it's like you can make these just real small changes to your stop pin and all that stuff and give you these huge allowances that you couldn't do before, which is nice. Very nice. But I think it's important.
Yeah.
Like Mark got to see what it's like to see how a knife is made and be part of it. And I think if you ever get a chance, anyone out there, to actually see if there's a get together at a knife maker's house or whatever, go do it. Because I think it'll open your eyes. I think that's great what Lee's doing over there and letting people see and make their own knife. It'll change your idea of knife making, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's big time.
It certainly changed my perspective. I mean, it gave me a lot better insight into some of what goes on and
how glamorous it is. Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was incredibly glamorous, but the whole conversation about, okay, here's this shape that we like, right? That's kind of what we came up with first. And then, I mean, it's a little bit backwards probably from the way he does it today, like you said, on the computer, but in our case, we kind of came up with the shape and then it's like, okay, let's figure out how to make the lock and the stop pin and all that stuff work with this. And it was very interesting because it gave me a little better, maybe a lot better feel for kind of what goes into that aspect of it. And then, again, being engineer nerd guy, I asked a bunch of questions about, okay, well, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you do that? What if you did this over here? And, it led into conversations about design guideline stuff. And we'll probably do a mini-sode. I think we talked about that, right, Michael, about some things, some key aspects of design for a folder and things to look for and stuff like that. So we'll get into that in a later episode. But we went into a bunch of those things. And for me, that was super interesting because I'm like, okay, some of this stuff makes a lot more sense now. And it gave me some things to look at when I was looking at other people's knives as well. So,
but
it's a very cool piece. It's not.
When I was putting the thumb grooves though, with my little 5/32 wheel, eyeballing it, thought you're going to have a conniption fit.
That's 100% true. I'm like, are you going to use a jig or put that in something? He's like, no, I'm going to put them in. I'm like, no way. No, there's no way those would be right. They're going to be a mess. And they weren't, they were very nice. So sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a really funny, it was a funny weekend. They always have been when I've gone down because it ends up being some kind of like clash of I don't know. I just do it that way. And against, hey, there's like science for this, man. Why don't you use the science?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't.
Makers, dude.
We have methods.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. There's right times and wrong times.
So we're going to do, I know Birch has honorable mention just coming. I mean, he said coming up.
He already did too.
Well, I think he hasn't, probably more, but are we going to do like a flash round of honorable mention?
Honorable mention. Sure. Go ahead.
I guess if you guys want to cheat, sure.
Well, I figured it'd be less like cheating if we all had one honorable mention.
Right.
Sure.
So yeah, I'll go real fast. Mine is, it's a hammer. Actually, it's a hammer I got from Liam Hoffman at Blade Show maybe 4 years ago. I don't know, something like that. But it's a pretty cool hammer that he made. It's all Damascus. It's like multiple pieces of Damascus put in. The face is one kind. The the pole is another. The middle is like wrought iron and stuff. It's a pretty cool hammer, and it's if I had to keep something else out of the collection, it's kind of a cool piece to keep just because it's so different.
Yeah.
So that's my
Liam Hoffman hammer.
Yeah, that's my honorable mention.
Nice.
Very nice.
Thanks.
And the first hammer on the list.
And the first hammer.
I'll tell you one that's
Well done.
not going away. It's my Tom Crine Jack Turner special.
That one's made you bloody.
It has. I like that knife. We did a trade. It was a long time ago. Little cord wrap piece for a Jack Turner special. I think 2008.
I still
is what
got it, man.
Yeah.
It's
still use
it's in
that
a
in the
paw
kitchen.
long sheath.
Nice.
Wasn't it referred to as that shitty Jack Turner special in an earlier
It may
episode?
have
of
Yeah,
Rock
I didn't cry that time, but I think it cut him pretty good.
Tom was in the shop.
Yeah. Don't shotgun a beer with the Tom Crine knife. It's not a good idea.
Ugh.
Don't shotgun. Is that how you cut yourself with it?
Yeah, man. I stabbed at the
Allegedly.
can and hit my hand. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's
Damn it.
that may have happened.
Possibly.
Abby came out and we were at the old house and I was just bleeding all over the floor. She's like, "You dumbass." Yeah. It was a long time ago.
You were at the house and you were by yourself and you were shotgunning a beer?
No. I don't know who was with me, but me and some other dudes were out in the shop drinking beer.
Dude, it's okay that you drink alone.
We're going to
No,
mark
I
the
mean-
maker intervention on that shit.
I don't know who was with me or what. I think some of my old high school friends or something. Who knows?
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Okay.
don't
Well,
don't do that, kids.
that's more. No. That's more forgivable. If you're with your buddies and you shotgun a beer, that's one thing. But if you were out like sharpening mower blades or something and you decide to shotgun a beer in the garage, I might be a little bit worried.
You don't have time sometimes.
Yeah, I was not alone.
Sean, you have an honorable mention that you want to add?
Yeah, the boy folder I picked up at Blade Show.
Good call. Good
Yes.
I dig the way it carries, and I like that I got it with you gents and everything that goes along with that. And
Yeah.
I would hold on to this guy permanent, period.
call. Mine's in my pocket.
Nice.
And I
So is
also talked to what's the lady's name at Boy? She called today and she was like, "Were you at Blade?" And I kind of told her who we were. She was like, "I don't know who you are," because but I'm like, anyways, she said that he came back from that show rejuvenated with another lease on life. He was excited, which is kind of cool. I loved it.
Fantastic.
That
awesome.
kicks ass.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. She's like, "I don't know what happened at Blade this year, but he came back and he was excited." So that makes me happy in my soul.
Yeah.
Good call, Sean.
I carried mine in Florida.
Right?
Tucked
Perfect
into my,
choice.
swim trunks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect
It was took
choice.
to the ocean. I had it swimming with the kids everywhere.
I had mine in the lake
Kept looking for a
yesterday.
marlin, but didn't.
To spike.
Nice. yeah, buddy. I was ready.
I
Nice.
tubed for like 3 hours with mine clipped inside my swim trunks.
Tom was daring
Yeah,
the
man.
world to take it away from him.
That clip is strong, man.
Oh yeah.
It is.
Yeah, she's snug.
I do that quite often. With swim trunks. I'll just clip onto the inside.
I always do, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good call, Sean. I've carried mine a ton since we got back too, and I think I mentioned in the last episode or something. We broke down a ton of cardboard and boxes and all kinds
It
of
just
crazy
keeps
shit with
cutting.
it, and I think just
Yeah.
keeps on rocking. Yeah.
Cool. What about you, Mark?
Honorable mention. All right, I'm gonna do two honorable mentions
Oh,
since they're kind of
geez.
sisters.
Oh god.
But I've talked about them before on the show. So, like
Okay,
you said,
all
they'll
right.
go fast.
Good call.
One is it's my David Sharp Big Bear
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
because it's crazy badass. I don't know. It might be the coolest knife I've ever seen held in my hand. It's just a cool knife. Beautifully made. I've talked about it before. I've showed pictures in the Facebook group and stuff. So my David Sharp Big Bear, and then the one that Tom sent to me
Tom Mayo.
and tempted me into buying, which is a Tom Mayo Bigger Bear. So like a super big bear, which might be the second mention of a sword on the show because it's literally that long.
It's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. And those two are like yin and yang pair, right? One's Westinghouse Ivory micarta. Tom's is all black micarta. Different takes on the Loveless thing, but I think they make a really, really fun pair. So
Good call.
Awesome.
honorable mention.
Oh, unless
Yeah,
we
that's
forget the Pack-A-Wood Tom Crine kitchen knives.
Yes.
Talk about
The
something else with
K-Uti.
some sentimental Mark of the Maker value.
Yeah, very much. So.
Yeah.
Those were fun. I need to see if they have any more of that stuff.
I'm sure it's
That's,
not getting sold out.
You got to admit, it looked pretty good when I finished it.
You made it look
It
good.
looks
And I was just
good.
like, I mean, I opened that and said, damn you, Tom, with a smile on my face. I was like, you made it look cool. You made me like it. And I didn't even realize it was Pack-A-Wood or whatever at first. I was just like, huh. I was like, oh.
That's
I gotta
son of
do
a
a-
biscuit.
A boarding saber for Blade next year.
Yes.
Right.
Got to happen. That's I have that took on letter opener duty at my house. So that thing is like
Awesome.
the king letter opener. And then I was looking for a really old, funky, unique letter opener. And I made that statement to our friend David Ricardo, the engraver guy. And he had been taking some blacksmithing classes. So he went to blacksmithing class one day and hammered out a letter opener and sent it to me. So
Oh, that's cool.
they share letter opening duties at the house.
That's awesome.
All right. So this is the other half of what we wanted to talk about, which is these are knives that we all have already that if you had to whittle them down, that's what you'd whittle it down to. But the next piece is if you could have any 3 additional knives, what would they be? This one's kind of hard too. It's not hard from a like sentimental value perspective, like, wow, which one am I going to leave out? But if you could have anything, that's
Dude, it was
Pretty
almost
crazy.
impossible.
Yeah. It's like, what do
I
you
mean,
go for the King Tut? What do you pick?
Walker
Somebody picked
zipper.
the King
I
Tut,
mean, there's
didn't
so
they?
many different things. It's like, nope.
Birch went straight national treasure. Sorry.
That one is, man. That one.
Yeah.
What'd you pick, Michael? What's your first pick anywhere on the list knife?
Okay.
Any
if
knife
I-
around.
Man, it was hard, but I'd have to say if there was one I wanted to look at, it'd have to be the Kronk shark knife.
Oh,
I almost went with
cool. Good.
with the
good.
Eliminator, but I think I just looked the sub hilt part of the shark. It's just so damn cool, and yeah, I know it's a fantasy knife. I know but I bet I can just stare at that thing
Doesn't
all
matter.
damn day.
That's the one with like the blade fins on the side,
Mhm.
right?
It looks like liquid metal. It really does.
Yeah.
How well he did
Yeah.
that.
When did we talk about that? Did we talk about that in the 5 Knives episode?
Halloween night.
I think it was the movie Knives.
Halloween. Scary
was it?
Knives,
Oh,
Scary
yeah,
Knives.
'cause it was-
yeah.
It was in a movie.
Scary knives, I think.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't know. I don't
love that
remember.
knife.
Yeah, that was from the Halloween app.
Okay.
It was from one of the movies I brought up, and then we found out that it was based on that handmade.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. The Kronk shark knife.
Great pick from a great maker. Really, really almost an unsung legend. I mean, it's like, why isn't there a coffee table book of his work?
There should be,
Right.
but there is an award named after him, so that is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and for anybody who's listening that isn't part of our Mark and the Maker Facebook group, you missed out. So you should join us and check this out. Bobby
Wow.
Branton just posted the other day a WW Kronk catalog. And
Mhm.
did he post 1 or 2? I think it was just 1, right?
One, yeah.
Yeah,
But
said he was gonna
the
look for the
pictures
other
are
one.
fantastic. Pictures of his shop and all kinds of stuff. It is very, very cool. Bobby has been very, he's really into this knife history thing. And I think
Mhm.
he's appreciative that we're talking about that stuff. And so he's been very helpful with us and sharing some very, very
yeah.
cool things in our little Facebook group.
Yeah,
So
and thank you, Bobby. Very
Now-
much appreciated.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
absolutely.
Now the longer Eliminator one, which is more of a sword version, it still has lots of kind of fins sticking out, more elaborate. I think that one sold for $45,000 or something. It was something
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
at like an auction or something?
I don't know if that was the secondary or if that was his price. I was just roaming
wow.
around looking at stuff. I came across
Imagine
that.
a secondary.
I'd say so. But who knows,
Probably,
man?
yeah. What about you, Sean? If you could pick any knife, what would be your first choice?
All right, man. Money's no object. Anything goes. I would like a matched box set of daggers from Virgil, England.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good call, man.
Yeah, I'd like for him to be kind of assassiny and to fit into the mythos somewhere. And yeah, I think that'd be pretty boss. And got to be in the box,
Yeah,
man.
his work is well. That's part
Yeah,
of it.
exactly.
I remember
Yeah.
the old, when Blade used to be at the top of the escalators at the Waverly. The booths were outside, and then you went into the ballroom like straight in. And I can remember going to his booth. And I was like, this dude is so trippy. I mean, he had like a map from his home to Blade Show, but it was like if you're in Dragon Quest or something like that, and it was all on leather. And he made some of the coolest stuff. Yeah, good call.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very nice, Sean. Just a straight up design, knife lust kind of choice, respect choice, maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, it's got a few. It's hitting on a couple cylinders.
They're just gorgeous
Yeah.
looking. They look like an alien, like you'd see on an
exactly what I
alien
was thinking.
ship. They're just, I don't know. It's kind of like how Jose de Braga was like so much like square and futuristic in that way, like retro modern or retro sci-fi. His stuff was like in a more
Right.
stylized and curvaceous way. Yeah, I don't know.
It's like artifact stuff.
It is.
Yeah, man, it was a combination of sci-fi and fantasy and just imagination.
But
Yeah,
not
if you were down in like a Mayan temple and you found the glass skull and there could be a Virgil England knife.
but in my
Yeah,
head,
absolutely.
his stood out in a way that like they weren't funky to be funky. They weren't like a Klingon type of, tons of things. That they were just like very organic and very, very cool designs. I love his pieces, but still being way out there.
Oh yeah, I mean they've got that alien technology look, but still a almost ancient look to them.
Yeah, like
Right.
still functional. I don't know. Very cool piece, man.
So Sean, I know I asked this in a previous episode, or maybe it was in a conversation leading up to one of them. We were at Steve Delac's gallery a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Did he have a Virgil England set up in the front glass case? Whose were those up there?
Yeah.
I don't know whose
I
they
remember
were. I stood and
We
just
talked about them.
gaped at it for 15, 20 minutes at least, looking at all the details I could see.
Yeah. Do you remember whose those were, Michael?
Who owned them? Those were Virgil
Not
England knives, but those are Delac.
Oh, they were. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I thought I remembered Sean telling me or somebody telling me they were Virgil England knives. Yeah.
He didn't have them there anymore.
Very
I don't
cool.
know if anyone bought them or what, but that
Right. Or if he rotated stuff through or something.
could be.
He had a couple different ones in his case at Blade Show.
Ooh.
Oh, did he?
Yes, a couple smaller ones, if I'm remembering correct.
Nice.
Huh. Might have to go make a visit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. I think my first, and this one's actually achievable. I should just go save some money and actually buy one, but because I think you can find one of these without that much trouble. But I've never owned a Tony Bose slip joint. I love slip joints. I love traditional knives. I have a
Mhm.
bunch of them from some really talented makers and some really good friends. But I've never owned a Tony Bose slip joint, and that's always kind of something I always looked at as sort of the epitome of that whole scene. So probably a Bose, maybe a 2-blade, either a trapper or a swayback or something cool, and stag, obviously, like any Grail Tony Bose would be.
Yep.
But I would love to own one of those. So that's my wish list traditional. And the why piece of that for me, again, is just kind of back to that cornerstone of collecting thing, right? If I was sticking some spikes in the ground about, stuff, examples of genres that I really appreciate, that's what that piece would be for me, is sort of ultimate slip joint.
It's a great pick.
Yeah.
That
His stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
I almost made that my pick, one of my picks.
Did you?
Yep. Would love to have one.
Well, and in some of these episodes like this, we've actually done this ahead of time to make sure nobody had duplicate stuff. We didn't do that this time, so it still could happen. You never know.
I've had
True.
a couple, and I sold them when I needed equipment for the shop, and I wish,
Yeah.
wish in one hand, but they're definitely worth a lot more than I sold them for now.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and I would love to have one and actually carry it, kind of like that Locks example that Michael talked about earlier, right? Tony's talked about that a few times on Instagram. He's got an Instagram account, and he's mentioned that a few times lately. Like, hey, I just finished this knife, and I'm shipping it to a customer, and I know he's putting this thing in his pocket, and I like that.
I carried mine, and I had a Ken Onion knife that I carried for a while.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. I would love to have a Ken Onion. Are you talking about the one you got from the gathering? You won on lottery?
Yeah, I carried that for quite a while. Yeah,
Oh, man.
pretty neat.
Yeah.
Very
buddy.
cool. Nice. So what's your pick here, Tom? First pick on the
First,
anything list.
so yeah, this was a tough one for me. Super, super tough because there's like art knives and knives from history. If you go to the Met in New York, there's some crazy stuff in there. But I kind of wanted to stay with the custom knife stuff instead of like historical. And for me, I went with the Skagel. I really think that Skagel is the reason why we're here, like we talked about in our podcast. And he has there's a pair of Hunters, and I'd take either one. They're identical pretty much in his book and in the book on Skagel. And they're the VL&A set. They're crown stag with leather stacked handles, and they probably got a 6-7 inch blade. Just very, very classic Skagel. And to me, there's some other Skagels that might be more desirable, but for me, this is a knife that just speaks to me, and I could see myself using something like this. So that's where I went with my first pick.
Nice.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Crown stag and stack leather. That's like the definition of Skagel style.
Oh
right?
yeah. Doesn't get any better as far as I'm concerned when it comes to Skagel. And I'll try to put some pictures up of this. If you do have the book, it's page 87.
Weren't you working on some stag and stack leather?
Yeah. I've made some that way. Mine are more Morse.
No, I thought recently.
Yeah, I mean, I need to finish some, but
Yeah, you do.
I haven't made any in a while. The ones I make are more Morseth type. When I worked for AG, I did about 160 knives, I think, were Damascus, and they were stacked leather, and I did a filed Skagel type guard. But those were fun. But yeah, I need to do some more Skagel type stuff, Morseth type stuff. I haven't done any hidden tank stuff in a while.
Yeah, you need to make a hidden tang like that and sell it to old Birchie.
Yeah. Good call.
All right, Michael, what's your number 2 wish list pick?
Man, this was another toughie. I really love the Cloud Cutter. I think the Fikes.
That was my assumption that would be your first one.
Well, I didn't go by like order of whatever. I absolutely love that knife. I love the lines of it. I love the Hamon on it. I love everything about it. And the fact that it's a Jimmy Fikes and Don Fogg collaboration kind of piece. But at the same time, then you kind of miss out on some of Fogg's organic, type of handles that he does. So I think it's my pick, but man, it was between that or going with one of his other pieces. Because man, he does beautiful handle work too. Very organic, very, artistic. But that one gets me in the feels every time I see that thing.
Super good pick.
He's going with that. He's doing that sneaky multiple honorable mention
buddy.
trick.
Well done.
Well, for my second pick, I would have picked this one or that one or the other one, but instead it was tough. Son of a.
Yep.
All right. You knew that was in there somewhere. The cloud cutter that had to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have gone with Kamal also with Dawn Fog, but
Oh yeah, that's the problem. You could have done the Kamal stuff that he did with the Syed, and then the
with Murad San or whatever.
and then or the one he did with Kelso, the collab did with Kelso with all the beautiful work that Kelso did on the handle. But nope, I went cloud cutter.
Oh, yeah. Good call. I mean, it's a classic piece.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Sean, what's your number 2 anything goes pick?
Man, this is a really fresh knife. I just saw it recently on Instagram, and it's a Michael Walker crowbar lock that he recently finished. I've saw
that.
pictures of it several times now, and man, it just captivates me every time. I love everything about that knife.
That thing is stunning.
You saw it, the one with all the work in the blade, and then all the serious machining and embellishment in the handle. And
Yeah.
I mean, just a stunning, phenomenal piece.
His knives are amazing.
Didn't he make a comment that that's the last crowbar lock he's going to make or something like that?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think so.
I think he did
Hmm.
on Instagram. Yeah. That's a super, super stunning piece.
I love the internal
Fantastic choice, Sean.
work, where you can see
Yeah.
through the handle
Oh, yeah.
into the backside, and he's got the work on the backside.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
all machined on the inside.
Yeah, buddy, that is a cool piece. Nice choice.
Thank you.
That's a really good reminder that I need to get to some shows and focus on that art knife side of things, because I've not spent enough time really studying that stuff. I mean, I've casually observed, and obviously, you follow Michael on Instagram and see some of the amazing stuff he's doing there. And there's several examples, right, that I come across, but it's like, I probably should spend some time really kind of studying that style, that whole world of art knives.
It's a whole nother world, man. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I figured his name would have already come up at least once.
Right.
Very beautiful knife.
Yeah, like I said,
very
I'm just
cool.
fixated on it right now.
Good choice, Sean. I think this one kind of was an obvious one, so I probably should have picked something else, but I would love to have a real Loveless Big Bear. Maybe ivory, maybe green canvas just because it's super legit, but it would be hard to pick between the two.
Obvious or not, it's like for your collection, you got to pick it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm contractually obligated at this point to pick it. But yeah, I mean, the conversation with David in the Loveless episode about picking your favorite Loveless, a shoot would be super, super cool, but I would have to pick a Big Bear. And yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you go ivory or would you go canvas?
Stag? I'd go green canvas, because if Bob was making for himself, that's probably how he would build it.
Yeah.
That's what he would do. Right.
Yeah, green canvas, red liners.
Green canvas, red liners.
now if we're talking,
I mean,
that's a very
now
good
if we're talking in a world where nothing ever changes, like the stag would never, peel away or
Right.
move, I'd stag all day long.
Yeah.
but it's not that kind of a world, and that's why Bob liked the other. I mean,
This is our made up world,
Right.
Tom.
Right. It's imaginary, okay?
trying to be sentimental here. But yeah, you're
Right,
right.
right.
Nice stag is really pretty sexy.
Yeah. There's pictures out there of a couple of mammoth ivory ones, elephant ivory. I mean, there's some super cool shit.
Mhm.
But somewhere down that path, I would have to pick for sure.
Good call.
What about you, Tom? What's your pick number 2 in the wish list?
So, pick number 2 was a knife that I fell in love with. When I was in high school, I got Knives and Knife Makers by Sid Latham. And I used to sit, and there's a colored section. There's like 3 or 4 pages that are color. And the last color page, there's a Rod Chappelle. I think it's a Fighting Leopard. It's his Bowie.
Yeah.
And it's another place in the book also. You can see a better picture kind of, but it's like Cocobolo. And I just kind of fell in love with the lines of that knife. It's super curvy. The handle was super sculpted. It was just, to me, in my formative kind of years when I was getting into knives, that knife was just it said everything. And there's a lot of Chappelle knives in the book, and they all kind of have that carved, curvy handle, and they're just sculpted beautifully, and just a beautiful piece of art that you can use. So that's my second pick.
Nice.
That's a really good one. So the Fighting Leopard, I know when I looked in the Knives and Knife Makers book, there's maybe this is common to his stuff, but there was one that the handle almost was, it was almost like the butt cap was trying to reach toward the guard. Like the guard was kind of not twisted, but it had an arch to it as well, where it was kind of arched to the rear, and the butt end of the handle was kind of, you know what I mean? Had like a retention feature curving forward. It almost looked like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it went just a little farther, it would close up like a guard.
Yeah, it's definitely could be like a D guard with the middle part all cut out.
Yeah.
But just really cool. Very different from what I build, but just beautiful to me. And it especially at that time, there were so many other knives that were kind of straight, you know, like the Lloyd Hale knives were kind of straight, the D Henry, some of those, they were just more straight lines, whereas this was so different because it was so curvy.
Yeah.
Really
awesome.
Really like his style.
All right. So Michael Birch, this is your very, very last pick.
Very last pick. Very last pick.
Very last pick before the honorable mention start.
Oh, before the honorable mention. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you're number 3.
Okay. I think, truthfully, I'd like to go with the Corrado Moro Tourbillon folder.
Huh?
Wow.
I think I got handed one to check out, and I was just blown away by it. Something about how the knife looked like it moved separately from the pivot, which is like, holy shit. It was just kind of layers of depth that I just really thought kicked ass.
What was the name again?
Corrado Moro, Corrado Moro Tourbillon, Tourbillon. Tourbillon.
Oh, cool.
They're just, I don't know. There's inlay work. There's depth and color, but not, too much.
Wow, they're beautiful.
Yeah, elegant.
Yeah. No, I dig those.
Wow. Yeah.
I think
beautiful.
I think Jared Thornton, he picked up one too, didn't he? Didn't he have one, Mark?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was just thinking that it was either Steve or Mark Strauss that brought one around for us to look at, but you're right. I think Jared might have one as well.
Yeah, Strauss was the first one to show me one, or he had one. I was like, holy shit. And then I think Thornton got one.
Colors, yeah. The colors and fit and finisher. Wow.
Yeah, man.
I think you and I might have been walking around at a show after your stuff was done, and Mark may have showed us one, because it seemed like you and I were together, and we were like both kind of blown away by that whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Huh. That's why I got to walk around more.
Or maybe it was in, you know what? It might have been in Vegas.
Oh, it might have been
before the TKI.
Yeah. At the, well, it's not that show anymore.
Yeah. The one that was down at the Riviera once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool piece.
Wow, that's like stunning. Good call, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I wasn't even aware. That's really cool when you find something new.
Yeah, folks should definitely go find those. You can find them. Steve Delac has some pictures, a nice collection of pictures of some on his 50/50 Productions website. Moro Knives, Instagram at MORO Knives, or MoroKnives.com. Italian maker, crazy stuff. Kind of like I don't know, almost, what would you call that? Almost like a deco meets futuristic kind of design.
Art deco industrial.
Definitely art deco. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's also like with the watch mechanism with the Tourbillon name, and just kind of It's funky, but it goes together.
Yeah, crazy good. Super fancy, super beautiful.
Shit I aspire to. Stuff that I look at and be like, I want to be better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Crazy choice. Very nice choice.
Thank you.
All right, Sean, pick number 3. What you got?
Man, my last pick, I would try to get the sword Jody Sampson made for the Conan the Barbarian movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That hits on a lot of cylinders for me, a lot of different reasons. Unlimited funds. Yeah. We're going after that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
Nice call.
Thank you.
The Conan sword. That's awesome.
I would even watch the documentary
choice.
made about you tracking that sword down and buying it.
Oh, I guarantee you it'd be fun if we had unlimited funds, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. Sean finds Conan.
Yeah.
We could come up with a really good title for that. That's the working title, but we'll come up with a better one for it.
Do it like a docu-series.
Yes, exactly.
The riddle of the
Yeah,
Sean.
6 or 8 part kind of thing.
We could have fun if we had like a TV show. I'm just saying.
In case someone that's handing out TV shows is listening.
Yeah.
Okay, so my third pick, I think these are actually, okay, I guess all these are achievable with enough money, but a green canvas Big Bear would be a lot of money. A Bose is something I could actually buy if I set aside some money for a while. This one I think is achievable at some level too, and that is, and maybe this is a weird choice for it, but I would love to have a Jason Knight Kukri.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Super badass piece. We've talked about his work before. We'd love to have Jason join us on the show at some point. Maybe we'll get that together, make that happen. But his kukri with that big old monster fuller sweeping down the blade,
Mm-hmm.
you know, maybe some kind of cool Sandmeyer or carbon steel with a little Hamon going on or something badass. But his stuff is so cool. But yeah, Jason Knight kukri.
It's an excellent choice.
I think that might have to be my number 3.
After he started doing those, I saw so many fixed blades out there with people starting to do like the 2-inch and 3-inch little grind wheels fullers put in. And so many, like he influenced a lot of the fixed blade design you see out there today. And actually we talked about that on the last one, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, never mind.
Well, and it's so refreshing because he's an ABS mastersmith that thinks outside the ABS box.
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
there's not a lot of mastersmiths that do that, and I for one appreciate it. I appreciate all the work they do, but his work is just inspirational.
Yeah, in the world of like the Finch and the Fisk and the guys, nothing wrong with those knives, but it was very much a popular type of buoy and smaller blades to make. He was bucking and going a little curvy with it. I liked it. Him and Bert Foster, man, doing some funky stuff.
Yes. All the funk.
All the funk. We like the funk here at Mark of the Maker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jason Knight Kukri, we'll try to get Jason to come on with us and talk about it. Cause like I said, he's doing different stuff. He's got a different perspective than a lot of people, and his approach to stuff is, be a maker, not a taker. That whole thing that he's got going on is very, very cool. So we should talk about that some more.
Mhm.
So anyway, Jason Knight Kukri, that's my third choice. What about you, Chomp? Tom, what's your third choice?
Call him Chomp.
He called me Chump.
Yeah, Chomp.
Chump.
What's up,
Chump crying.
It was somewhere between Chomp and Champ. I'm gonna go with Champ. It just came out a little funny.
Thanks. Third choice is also kind of one that influenced me early on, out of the same book. It's funny. It's a Bob Dozier knife, and I loved this knife before I ever worked for Bob Dozier. And it's just a little drop point hunter. It's got an Osage orange handle, and for me, it's really straight. It's not got really crazy sexy lines, but to me, it just spoke to me. It was like, to me, that's what a knife should be. Totally different from what I ended up making as a knife maker, but I'd still love to have that knife. If I could ever find that, I would try to purchase it, most likely. Just another sentimental piece, and that's it.
Very cool, man.
You're just a sentimental guy, Tom.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just a sappy guy.
You're a hopeless romantic.
That's,
Yeah, right.
I was just going to say that exact thing.
Uses tears to lubricate his folders.
Yes. Tears of joy. No, there's no
I
crying
have
in
to
the
go
night
outside
shop.
the shop.
He's got to lube him up out on the back step. What's okay, so Birch, we know you have honorable mention. What's your honorable mention?
You gotta have a Buster Lewinsky. You gotta.
Call.
And I'd have to go with a San Francisco
much true.
style, either vest buoy or let me see. For a specific. Let me pick a specific. There's a few that have stuck with me. These did one with a carved mammoth handle. That was absolutely gorgeous. And you can find them in the Points of Interest books.
I love those books.
Oh, God, yeah, man. You have to have one of those.
Yep.
If money was no object. Yeah, I'll post a couple photos up of some of these.
Awesome. Sean, you want to take a swing at an honorable mention?
The Predator boy from Predator.
Bang.
Ooh,
Yeah, I didn't have one prepped. That's just off the cuff, but that'll do.
that will do.
Sean's going straight to the Hollywood prop vault.
Mhm.
He's just going to start raiding. That's what's going on.
I could do that.
Yeah. How hard could it be?
Just knocking on Arnold's house.
It's California.
Hey, man. You got them fucking swords, man?
Exactly. Right. Cough them up, bro.
Can I get
Come on,
that
don't be
Seiko
stingy,
watch
man.
too?
Yeah.
Right. I think my well, it's an honorable mention, but this is my sort of go raid the National Archive kind of choice. My Birch's national treasure knife would be a mission carried Astro.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Randall Astro, Model 17, carried into
Went
space.
to space.
Oh, no, that
And back.
Yeah, man.
I thought about that. Good call.
I didn't think about that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that'd be
He's a crafty one, that Desmo.
that'd be
Not very
sweet
many
as
knives have been out of
shit.
the world.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You'd have to get like a 60s Omega Speedmaster and your mission carried Randall Astro.
Yeah, well,
and there's like a whole collection of shit that you'd have to have if you had that.
Okay, if you're national treasuring it, you might as well steal one of the watches there too. That went to space.
Yeah, right. Just grab it while you're there.
Yeah. When you're saying that, I thought
Work out a package
you
deal.
were talking about the Buster King Tut knife when you're talking about national treasure.
Nah.
If you're gonna raid the Smithsonian, because that's where this is, I think in the space.
No, we're
one,
not. We're
might
not
as well get
saying.
the pack.
We're not saying we're going to raid the Smithsonian.
Yeah, Tom. This is not
I'm just
this is
saying.
not premeditation.
I'm just saying, get the pack. It's like there's like a pack, right?
like
that
a
it's
sampler
on?
pack.
No, like a backpack.
You're saying
like
steal.
I'm pretty sure it's like on a. Yeah, no, it's on a backpack. I'm pretty sure. At least they have one there. I don't know if it's the one that went to space or not, but it's on like a astronaut backpack.
No. If it didn't go to space, it's out, Tom.
Well,
He's gonna
I'm just saying, I don't know if that's one that went to space or not. It's on the pack, like went to space, but
Surely there's
don't-
something that
I don't
went
know
to
if it clarified.
space that you can carry stuff in. You know, like maybe a spacesuit and kind of rip it up and make a little pack.
hell yeah.
You had to put it in terms that a man with young children could understand, like a Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
But that went to space.
Just walk out.
but with a Randall Astro
Just
inside.
fill one of the suits up and then walk out like you're giving a dude a piggyback ride. It's just,
right.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
a spacesuit around your back.
Nothing to see here.
Right.
Don't worry, folks.
A space backpack with some
Goodies.
moon rocks and a mission carried Randall Model 17.
Souvenirs.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
Yeah, the gift shop's full of them. You guys just head over there.
Exactly.
Go over there and hit me up on some bitchin' meteorite too while you're there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Tom. you got the final call here, the final say on the honorable mention for Unlimited Ultra Knife.
So I didn't actually have one planned, but I've got one. No problem. This would be a Ron Lake folder. His work's always been pretty inspirational, clean. I've got the Ron Lake book on making folders, and after my Blade Show experience where I got to talk to him, I'd take the knife that was on the table. Just kind of as a something cool, historical, and a piece of art.
Oh yeah.
I like Tom throwing the backhand in there.
Mm.
You know, Ron's work's always been pretty clean and
Yeah.
Well, dude, yeah. I mean, it's
crazy clean.
I think he gets overlooked sometimes when you're talking about like Loveless and
By
Rand and some of
whom?
these other guys, but he was the same era. Well, I'm just saying, I mean, it's not, great knife makers.
Yeah.
It's not going to come up on everybody's list, and it should.
Well, yeah, he should.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know about overlooked.
No, I'm not saying we overlooked him.
Yeah.
I'm saying that a lot of people, you know how our industry is. The memory of the industry seems to be about 2 or 3 years old. Right?
Oh yeah.
And shrinking. Yep.
So
We talked about that before, right?
Yeah.
Where he's sitting at his table with nobody there.
yeah,
And you walk up and talk to him. Yeah, no, absolutely.
yeah. Him and Dietmar Kressler are just sitting there twiddling their thumbs. It's like,
Now that's a big bear I'd like.
Oh, what planet am
to
I?
have.
Oh, Kressler Big Bear. That would be
God,
crazy,
man.
wouldn't it?
Talk about clean.
two of the better makers in the world that are living, and they're just sitting there with nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
I think personally,
super crazy.
and I haven't seen all of them up close, but I'd say maybe the cleanest Loveless styles out there. Just my personal opinion.
His and he does integrals also.
Yeah.
I mean, his
Yeah.
he's an amazing craftsman. And what was cool when I worked for Dozier, he would come he came to Bob's shop a couple times. Him and Bob are pretty good friends.
Really?
Way cool.
Yeah. Really cool dude.
Man, I'm going to be on the websites tonight looking at shit.
I know, right?
Yeah. Andrew Riley, the guy that writes up those awesome show notes for the show and shares them in that Facebook group. Sorry, Andrew.
Thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
They're
Those are
awesome.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
They're super cool. Yeah. So for anybody who's not in the Facebook group, you're missing out because Andrew writes up these show notes that are fantastic. They have links to all kinds of stuff, and we are going to wear his ass out with this episode.
All right. Let's list our next 20 honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Buckle up, pal.
Get your typing shoes on.
Well, I think it's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those episodes where I'm like, nah, we're not going to be able to talk about that. For a while.
Bullshit. Problem is, after
Mark was wrong.
Tom said Ken Onion, I want to change mine to, well, shit, I really just want a good Ken Onion.
There's so many choices that we could have made. That's what's crazy.
Yeah. His
Ken's a rock star
Yeah.
too.
Oh, his inlay work back in like 2005 was some of the craziest shit I ever saw. It looked like, like cow pattern type of stuff. You remember those pieces?
Yeah.
Blew me away.
Oh yeah.
God dang.
Always
Yeah.
always thinking outside the box.
This is 2019. I got CNC and I'm still going, boy, I hope this inlay works.
2019. Yeah.
So
Ugh.
what's going on?
You're right.
What's going on next for you guys? None of you guys are going to the USN show, right?
No.
No, not this year.
Cry in Vegas, apparently.
Well,
It's a tough time. I totally get it.
the USN show itself is fun. I like it. It's always been fun. It's always been good for me. Good to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I've got the little girl starting kindergarten. I want a break from Vegas this year. Abby said it'd be nice if I didn't have to have this looming show at the end of the summer. And it still hurt to not do it though.
Yeah,
To be like, all right, I'm not going.
I'm gonna miss all you guys. Luke's not going. There's a bunch of people not going. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. And truthfully, I'm I need a break from Vegas, man.
That's where I'm at. That's the kicker for me too. Is I'm just kind of tired on the Vegas thing. Amy said, I'm not interested in going to Vegas this year. I'm like, well, what if we hook something else into it? And she's like, I don't know. I think I'm out this year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, it wears on you, man. At least it does me.
I'm the weirdo that likes Vegas, so
Right.
go by myself.
Yep.
That's coming up fast though.
I may
It's like
hit
6
the,
weeks.
It is not far away.
Yeah. See, that's the problem though.
I know.
Take a little vacation, you play with the kids and do all the summer activities. It just seems to tear up the summer, and then you're like, boom, oh shit, I got 3 weeks to make knives. And I'm looking forward to not having to worry about that this year.
Nice.
So maybe spend a little more time hanging out with the kids and the new puppy and all that shit.
Right.
You never get that time back, so it's always a good decision.
Oh, we were talking about what we had to get done leading up to the kids going to school, and I was like, it's like every weekend, is full of something.
Right. Right.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Well, you will be missed. You guys will be missed.
I appreciate that, and it wasn't an easy choice. I mean, I hope people don't think it was. It was not at all.
Yep. All right. Well, so I should say a thank you. We've talked about this in a couple episodes now. We started this Patreon thing a little while ago. We've had a bunch of people sign up to help out the show. We were greatly thankful. I'm actually going to blast through the list of names: Wade, Tao, Sonny, Ryan, Nick, Mike, Matthew, another Matthew, Cody, Kirk, Jess, Jeff, Jared, Christian, Chris, and Brad. So high five to all you guys. Oh, and Chris and Sal also helped us out a little bit with the show. So, hey, guys, we really appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
It helps a bunch with running costs of the show, and we're greatly thankful that you guys think enough of what we're trying to do here that you're willing to actually send us some cash as part of that. So, high five to all you guys for your support and your help with the show.
No, you know what? 2 high fives.
2 high 10.
Yep. That's it. Thank you guys. High 10.
I'll throw one in there too.
Wow. It's like an auction up in here. We got
Bam.
15.
Ooh. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
We do, man.
It's awesome. And like I said, it helps us with the show stuff. We've had a bunch of people ask lately about shirts. It's been a very popular topic. I've had people send me messages about it. We've had people post in the Facebook group. We had people post on Instagram. When are you guys going to do more shirts? We did those cool A2D2 shirts before, and those were really neat. They came out great. We do need to do another run of shirts, and we've been talking about what to do for shirt design. And you guys, what do you think? What should we try to do for shirt design? We got to come up with something cool.
What you got, Sean?
Oh, man, anything that's music related we can work with, I'm down with that.
Right.
There's all kinds of great designs that we can homage.
Right.
I like that Tesla thing you were talking about earlier.
Yep.
I like that.
Tesla related. That sounded fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's radio related. You can have the Tesla coils and whatnot.
Yeah.
Not Tesla, the band. We had to clarify that earlier in the discussion.
Yeah. Not,
Well, we can
not
kind of tie
hairband,
that in
but
too. It could be cool. It could be cool.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying we can't.
Yeah. So we got a couple ideas we're going to play around with a little bit, and a little Led Zeppelin 4 style thing. We got a bunch of different thoughts on it. So we're going to see if we can come up with something cool for you guys, and we'll do another run of shirts. We did them as a pre-order last time, and then we had a few available after. We'll probably do something like that, and we'll keep you posted as we
Ooh.
come up with stuff. What?
If we do a series of T-shirts that are like based off of old albums, we can call
Yeah.
them our deep cut series. Boom.
Oh, I like what you did there. Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dad joke quota filled.
So proud of himself.
I am.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So we'll work on that. We got a couple other merch ideas too, especially now that Tom's all shooting laser beams all over Gentry down there.
Pew pew.
Yeah, we've been talking about a challenge coin, maybe with some kind of special mark for upper tier Patreon supporters, things like that. So lots more to come. We'll keep you informed and let you know what we come up with.
Fun stuff.
And then, you guys got anything else you want to add? We got kind of a little bit of recent news that I wanted to talk about. You guys got anything you want to add before we hit that and wrap this thing up?
No, I think that's about it.
Yeah, not that I can think of.
Yeah.
All right. So not long ago, we're actually only about 4 days ago from the time we're recording this episode. On July 11th, the world lost knife-making legend and ABS mastersmith Tim Hancock. Tom, you want to talk about the kind of work for folks that might not be familiar with Tim, what kind of work he did and kind of what sort of loss this is?
Yeah, I mean, basically it's kind of crazy to think that Tim, I just saw that he died of Parkinson, which is crazy because that's, for someone who works with their hands, that's like a terrifying disease. It's terrifying, period. But Tim was an art knife maker. He was an ABS master, and a lot of his work was showcased in one of the art books by David Durham, and his work was just outstanding. A lot of like Southwest style Bowies and that kind of work, and just a great artist, and his work will be sorely missed in the future. What an amazing craftsman. And there's a really good obituary. If you just search up Timothy Hancock obituary or knife maker obituary, it tells quite a bit about his life. That it's very well written, and I think you'd appreciate that.
Right.
His some of the cleanest pieces out there.
Yeah.
Look him up, check him out. Let his legend continue that way.
Yeah. Very fortunate to have the book by David Durham. I think if you check out his work, you'll be highly impressed. And what's crazy is he's been fighting Parkinson's for like 20 years and still making stuff. And he's making stuff that was at a level above pretty much everyone else, even with this horrible disease. So props to him. Hell of a maker.
Mm-hmm. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, sir.
Right. Rest in peace, Tim. Member of the Art Knife Invitational. And like I said, great loss for the knife community. So definitely do a little bit of research about Tim Hancock and see some of the beautiful work that he made. And like Tom said, his legacy will keep living on through that stuff. So, all right. Well, another lengthy ramble kind of episode. Hopefully it's something that folks will enjoy. And like we talked about at the beginning of this thing, we know that you guys have your own versions of these three knives, what you would pick out of your collection. We'd love to hear about them. So share that stuff up with us in the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, I know a lot of people don't do Facebook, but they do Instagram. So if you want to make an Instagram post and tag us in it and tell us about the three knives that you have in your picture or whatever, that you would be your kind of keeper knives. And even if you have some wish list knives that you want to come raid the Smithsonian with us and grab. Not that we're premeditated.
We do not condone raiding of the Smithsonian. The thoughts and
yeah, we didn't really mean it.
Hypothetically,
there's air quotes flying all over the place here.
Right.
Yeah, we'd love to see what you guys would choose.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
It would be
We'd
fun.
love hearing from you guys.
And I have a feeling we'd see a bunch of, I think we'll see some really cool things come out. We know that we missed some great choices in our wish list as well.
So many choices.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated that.
Yeah. Narrowing it down is hard, whether it's wish list or out of your own collection. So we're sure you guys will pick some that'll make us go, oh, look at that. I should have picked that. So please share those with us. Tag us on Instagram. We'll be happy to come check them out. And we'd love to see what you pick. Share the stuff with us in the Facebook group. And again, have 15 to all of our Patreon supporters and everybody that's helping us out with the show. You guys are awesome. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, all.
Thank you, guys.
To learn more about our makers, you can find Tom Krein on the web at KreinKnives.net, in his Facebook group, Krein Knives, or in his Instagram account, at Krein Knives. For Michael Birch, check birchtreeblades.com, Facebook group Birch Tree Blade Works, or Michael's Instagram at Birch Tree Blades. For myself and the Raygun Bead Project, we're on the web at raygundivision.com. We have a Facebook group called Raygun Division, or my personal Instagram at msteiner. For those interested in photos, references from the show, or some discussion about the show itself, you can find us on the web at markofthemaker.com, in a Facebook group called Mark of the Maker, or on our Instagram at Mark of the Maker. Last but not least, the ultra cool and haunting background music we use for the show is a piece called Noir Guitar by Stevie's Amp Shack, found at the Free Music Archive and licensed under Creative Commons CC BY 4.0. Thanks for listening.